So I'm here today at the National Supercomputing Centre on the outskirts of Edinburgh, and I'm joined by Professor Mark Parsons, who's helped to pull this whole thing together. Superfast computing is completely key in so many ways to deep science. This is the scale and speed and breadth of computing that drives analysis of the entire human genome, that'll help make sense of global climate change. This is the big computing that drives so much of our deep science. And guess what? This is our UK lab, and it's one of the best labs in the world. We're lucky to have it here. Mark, in no small part due to your work and the team here over the last few years. How good are we at this?
So most advanced economies will have one or two supercomputing centres that offer a national capability. It's something of an arms race because people understand the importance of these computers to innovation. Here we have Archer 2. Archer 2 takes a different technology approach, so it's not quite on the X-scale path yet, but it's 18 months old now. It's doing fantastic science across all of Britain's universities.
You showed me models of drug interaction, cell membranes, all modelled and based on real-life data, mapping all the geothermal oceanic currents in the North Atlantic around the Arctic and polar climate change. So this is powerful stuff. How does a company like AstraZeneca or GSK or a small company hire your facility? Can they come and plug and play, or is this only for use by big labs?
So a huge number of projects over the years on the national services have involved companies, and it really is in two different ways. There are many companies who work in UKRI funded projects. So you'll have a group of academics with a company attached, and they'll work. Examples of Rolls-Royce, but also small companies as well. But then we have also, since the 1990s, worked with small companies in our local area and larger companies who simply come and buy time on our computers. And we help them use this to improve their business.
And you've always done that, haven't you? It's
always.
An interesting part of your model. So if I'm a little startup in the Great Edinburgh cluster, and I've got my computing power for most of what I need, but I come across something that I need to really lean in, can I ring you up on the phone and say, can I book some time?
Yes, you can. And the investment we had through our City deal allows regional companies simply to phone up and get access just like that. I think one of the interesting things, though, is that many companies lack skills. So the first time they use it, quite often we'll do a little project alongside it for a few months just to get them over this hurdle they have. What we find is once we've done that, they come back for more. They understand what they need to do.
What other applications might there be of this sort of computing power to do something really exciting?
So I think we're getting to the point with this sort of computing where we can tackle things that have always looked out of our reach. You know, the next generation of computers will do a billion calculations a second. But interestingly, they're also built from exactly the same technology we use to do large-scale AI. So we're going to bring together AI and supercomputing. And what we're seeing around the world, particularly in America, where they've had these sort of systems for a while now, they're using AI to guide some of the traditional simulations they did and doing a whole load of science and innovation that they've never been able to do before. And that's what I want the UK to be doing. And I very much like the idea of missions, or we used to call them grand challenges, but this idea of focusing on some key things that Britain can do.
People often ask me, Minister, is this big investment, it is a big investment, really driving economic benefits for everyone? Yeah. Last year, the UK was number 2 in the world for early stage financings of tech companies, digital companies, £25 billion raised. And that's here, they're here because we've got this underpinning infrastructure. Mark, finally, I just wanted to ask you about net zero. I'm very struck that this is a net zero facility. All of your energy comes from renewables, but there's something else you're doing as well. Computers generate a lot of heat. What are you doing with it?
Exactly, so we generate megawatts of heat. It's hot water at the moment, and it goes out and we cool it with Scottish air. In future, we're going to take that hot water and put the heat down into disused mine workings that are flooded, heat the rocks, and allow homes and businesses to the north of where we're standing today to take that heat out using ground source heat pumps.
How cool is that? An international computer centre here on the outskirts of Edinburgh, driving a cluster of world-class AI and digital health companies, and then using renewable energy to fuel the computers, and the surplus heat driving geothermal energy for the new housing. I mean, that is a cluster working for the benefit of Edinburgh, Scotland, and the UK. Thank you for what you're doing. It's an amazing facility, and I'm glad more people have had a chance to see it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.